What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Today we are back with another video. This is the first video I'm recording of 2026. So to quote the bald fat man, Happy New Year! If you don't know, that was a Tyson Fury reference. But I am going to be doing a video that I have not done before, this type of concept. And that is going to be giving my honest opinion on a series finale. Now, this series is obviously known as Stranger Things, and I know I'm a bit late, okay? I know the episode came out like a few days ago by now, and like, I know loads of people already made their videos giving their honest opinions, and I know I'm late. Main reason for that being is because I was on holiday, and honestly, if I was able to make a video straight away after I watched it, I would have, but obviously I was enjoying my holiday, okay? It came out during then, but I did obviously give it a watch. So, today I'm going to be telling you my opinions on what I thought was good, what I thought wasn't good, in comparison to the other seasons, and as well as at the very end, if you stick around, I'll give you my final ranking of all the Stranger Things seasons 1 to 5. As I said, this is just going to be my honest opinion. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. And also, this video will contain spoilers for the finale and throughout the whole series, basically. Because I will be talking about specifically what happens in the finale, but I'm also going to probably be making some comparisons to other moments throughout the series as well. So I just want to give you a spoiler warning. So if you have not watched the finale or any bit of Stranger Things and you're somehow watching this video, I do recommend you do watch it, or you could just watch this videos anyways to get my insight before watching it yourself. But I just wanted to give a spoiler warning because I don't want to be the cause of spoiling shit. You know what I mean? But before getting into this, we're on the way to 600 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you hit it. And if you want me to do more type of videos like this, where I give you my honest opinion on certain movies and shows, then I will do that as well. And also, you need to remember, I am not a movie series critic. I'm a Fortnite gamer. So, well, no, I'm not specifically Fortnite, but I'm a gamer. Okay, I'm not going to be analysing and be like, oh, this shot was done well. Even though I do know all the different shot types and all that, because I do actually study media, and videography was one of the things I have been studying. But I'm not going to be actually going into that much detail because I think that's pretty boring, and no one wants to really hear that. So, I know I've been waffling, so without further ado, let's get into today's video. This is going to be fun. Alright, Stranger Things Season 5, the finale. What did I honestly think? Now, I'm trying to think of the best format to do it, if I should do like pros and cons, or if I should say basically everything at once. Now, my honest initial reaction to Season 5 was, I thought it was really, really good. Now, I believe that the issue, I think, with Stranger Things, well, it's not really an issue, but the thing with Stranger Things is, and I think Noah Schnapp even said it in an interview, was the finale with Stranger Things, and especially trying to end Stranger Things, like the finale, you're not always going to please everyone. I think that is pretty obvious. Like, obviously, I'll get into more detail what I mean by that, but it is difficult to appease every fan base, like, because every character's got their own fan base. So it's going to be difficult to make everyone happy, as well as trying to make a story that makes sense as well. So, putting all that all aside, how did they do? Well, honestly, in my honest opinion, I'm going to be real, okay? And I think, in my honest opinion, considering everything I just said then, I believe that Stranger Things did play it a bit too safe, in my opinion, with the ending. Now, I know that is a bit critical, because I honestly loved the ending. Like, I think the epilogue was really, really good. If you don't know epilogue, for the not the smartest people out there, epilogue is basically after the ending, like the final scenes after the main story. But yeah, um, I think they played it a bit too safe. I think obviously 11's quote unquote death. I'm gonna go over if I think she died as well. But I think that was the most predicted one. Besides the other, I think the two characters that actually supposed one of them's supposedly dead and the other one is actually dead. But the two, let's say, actual death, there's two supposed deaths in the show were the most predicted one by fans. Like I think if you're gonna ask anyone, um, who they thought was gonna die, majority of people would have said 11. And to be honest, it made the most sense, obviously, because she was the one that started it all. They teased it in previous episodes, and it made complete sense for her to obviously die. But obviously, it was gonna hit hard regardless. But I just didn't see. I didn't really just like. I still obviously was shocked by it. But the thing is, it's a predictable thing that you knew was probably going to happen. But like, still watching it, you're like, what? No way. Um, but yeah, I honestly think it was the most predictable one. I do think they played it safe with that. I feel like as well, there's a lot of fan bases that if they did kill off their character, they would be causing havoc online. For example, Dustin and Steve, if you killed off any of them, you would have got in shit for it. Um, but that's just really with the show. But luckily, obviously, they didn't die, so thank God. Um, I think Vecna could have been done a lot better in the final episode. Like, I'm gonna be real. I know they only had a 2 hour, 8 minute budget, and they spent like 30 minutes with the epilogue, as well as obviously they had um they had 30 minutes obviously with the epilogue. They had like 30 minutes to wrap up the epilogue, as well as obviously to fight the military and sort out storyline and fight Vecna. Obviously, they had to probably cut down a lot of scenes and edit it down to get into that time frame for like 2 hours. And because of that, I feel like the battle with Vecna, I feel like that was extremely quick. I think obviously I feel like leading up a whole season to a big fight between the good and evil, just for the evil to lose in like the first few minutes, like take a few minutes to lose. I don't really like that. That's just my honest opinion. I don't really like the fact that happens because, like, you'll start up as the whole season, for this big bad and for the hero to face the big villain, just them to lose. I mean, not like that easily. And the fact is, like, 11 didn't really seem like she was struggling against Vecna either. I felt like she was just bossing him around. Not bossing him around. I think she was just tossing him around, like beating him. The issue with Stranger Things, and it is something that isn't just with this season, but I think with the series itself, is with masterpieces like The Breaking Bad or like any show you think of that is like really, really good, that is like on that level. The main thing you like about it is the fact they always plan everything through. The issue with Stranger Things, despite all me loving the show, is I feel like Stranger Things doesn't really, the creator, sorry, doesn't really plan things through. And I honestly believe that they add things and then they forget things and forget, oh, they can do this or that. And I just don't really like that. It just gives me J.K. Rowling vibes of the Harry Potter, where they just go on Twitter to like explain things that, and in my opinion, like you shouldn't be you should be able to explain it in the actual show. You shouldn't have to obviously go on online to actually explain the show. You know, that's the whole point of the series is to make episodes to explain the things that obviously you should be explaining and not leave it to Twitter to obviously explain everything, or in interviews, I should say. For example, there are many characters or things that I feel like they have forgotten in previous series. If you want to know an example, Susie, um, Dawson's girlfriend from season 3 and 4, obviously never got talked about or appeared once in the finale. Um, and then the is it Duffer Brothers? I think it's the Duffer Brothers. Their only excuse for that being is that supposedly they broke up, but we never really get hearing that much about it. Once again, it just shows that they didn't really know what to do with the characters, so they were like, "Fuck it, leave it." And obviously Argyle as well. If you don't know who he is, he's the character from season 3 who was in California with the kids, with the main group. Obviously, he never appeared. There's so many other war characters I can legit name. I think Callie got done really dirty as well in the finale because of the fact that I think the only reason they brought her in to this season, and I honestly believe without her, well, I honestly believe without her, not a lot would change in the series. Now, obviously, there's a lot of good things she did. Or she's doing. There was a lot of good purpose in the fact that obviously, because of her, you got to find out more to do with the military and what they were doing in the experimenting on. But like apart from that, like they only used her to basically kill her off and also find a way for 11 to still be alive as well. So I don't know if I like that because it's just basically just wasting a character for where its only purpose is to really help other characters more than have it stand out. Because I can't lie, I don't really think she did much, and she was in 4 episodes. So it is a bit crazy in my opinion. The way she got portrayed throughout the show. Another thing that never made sense to me as well watching it was why the military so let me get this straight. The military were being very annoying the whole series, just trying to go hunt down 11, hunt down basically trying to hunt down 11 because obviously they want to get her blood to put it into to pregnant women so that they can make more basically of 11s and Henry Quills. But once 11 supposedly dies, we just don't see what happens to the characters after with the military. Because scene we know they've been taken by the military. But then the next scene we see they go graduating. Now, obviously, I think that's due to time limit and also because they had no idea what they were doing. But I just don't, like, if it was a realistic scenario, the military wouldn't have just let them go after, like, 11 would die. But you could also argue they weren't really there for them. They're really there for 11 instead. Even though, really, the other guys broke a lot of laws, like Hopper and Nancy, by killing actual military officers. But once again, Stranger Things, I don't think makes a lot of sense in retrospect because it is a show of monsters and all of that. So it doesn't really make any sense. And speaking of the military, I love the Terminator, but the woman from the Terminator that appears in this show, she did not really do much. I know she's supposed to be like a Brenner, like type character, but the difference with Brenner is Brenner actually had an ending where he actually got what he basically deserved in season 1 when he got killed. Obviously they did bring him back, but I'm surprised nothing really happened to her character. I think as well regarding the 11 death. Do I think she died? I don't. The thing is, what Stranger Things has done is I honestly believe what I think was gonna happen was I believe 11 was originally meant to die because I there was not gonna be really an ending where 11 just chills with like the gang again after everything. Main reason for that being is because I feel like if that did happen, number one, obviously it would really go against everything that they've been saying the whole season. But not only that, it's just a kind of like shit ending if nothing really affects the group. Like apart from Cadu's death, who only one of the members really like know, like that would have been really a shit ending. But I honestly believe they originally meant to kill 11 because there was going to be like a cyclical moment. But then I think Netflix came in and was like, don't kill her because we could use her for future projects and Stranger Things in like 10 to 15 years, like doing a finale, or have her in a appear like in a spin-off show. And I think that's the only reason why they show her possibly alive is so they can use the excuse to bring her back instead of being like, oh, yeah, she magic. So they because they're not going to be doing what they did with Star Wars and be like somehow Palpatine returned type shit. But honestly, I believe that I don't know. I I think it is smart. But if you want my honest opinion, is I honestly believe she was dead. Um, And I do think that Mike is just using it as a coping mechanism to because obviously if you had a girlfriend for years who just died, you would obviously try and find ways to keep her alive. That is a part of grief and mourning and all that. So it would make sense to create a fantasy of obviously them living the dream. And that's why I honestly think she is dead. But Stranger Things are the same creators who made Hopper somehow survive the season 3 finale of jumping into a portal that was exploding. So, yeah. Oh, God. Honestly, I feel like I've been a bit too critical. Let's talk about what I did like, okay? I want to get over the pros now. I really liked the ending. Not just the episode itself, but the last scene where Mike, I was going to call him Mark, where Mike, 11, Max, Dustin, Lucas. Wait, did I say it? Mike, Will, 11, Max. No, it's like Mike, Will, Lucas, Dustin, and Max all sit down after their graduation. By the way, another thing that did it, I'm sorry, I'm being another critic, but how did Max pass or graduate? Because she was in a coma for 2 years and then somehow came back to school and then graduated. Now, I know that was a time jump of 18 months, so a year and a half. But really, missing out 2 years of school, to come back and then just stay there for a year and a half and somehow graduate is impressive. I can't lie. In other words, I don't think they had room to explain how somehow Max has passed, but how Max has graduated. But yeah, as I was saying, I believe that I think the ending was really good. Like all of them sitting down, playing D&D, like this, how the series began, and then playing their final game of D&D and closing up the campaign, which was a significance for the like ending of like their childhood. Because after that they're going to be going to new places, becoming new people, well, not new people, but becoming older and like obviously it's basically like a like reference, not a reference. It's basically like a little message for us because we grew up with the show, and we're like now adults. Like I started it when we were 11, when I was 11, but now I'm 18. So like that just shows. I've been in this show. I've been watching this show for 7 years. So it's been a amazing show. Word. And yeah, it was very emotional. There was a lot of times where I did tear up. Because man can cry, you know. I think the ending, obviously Eleven's death, the ending, that was a scene as well. I just thought was really wholesome as well with Mike and his mum when they hugged and her saying how proud she was of him. I thought that was really cool. I know that obviously that didn't make me cry, but yeah, there was a yeah. So after obviously finishing their last campaign and going up, referencing obviously how the first episode they had to go up, um, and then as they all put their board games away, crying, then obviously the new kids, Holly, um, Derek, and all of them just go in and start playing it, and it's like a little pass of the torch moment, you know, and that I thought was really cool, you know, to start a new generation of Stranger Things. Obviously, it is different because obviously the Upside Down is gone, Vecna is gone, the Demogorgon's obviously gone too. Um, but yeah, you know what? I just realised I forgot to talk about Ollie and Derek and all that kit stuff. This video is going to be long because there's a lot that happened in the series, but what I think the best actor this season, or actress, I think, probably would have been. I honestly think Max and I think Max and Holly Wheeler were, I think, the best actresses of the season. Like, I'm not gonna lie, 11 was just mean mugging most of the scenes she was especially in Volume 2. Like, if you see all the memes about it, uh, it's funny. Um, but to be honest, I think I know some people are like, why is it just focused on these kids that just came in? The reason is because they're trying to copy like season one vibes, where obviously being mainly kid focused season, but it did make sense regarding Vecna's plan, and I think one of the most controversial parts of, well, not of the finale but the season itself, was obviously the Will coming out scene. Now I think this was predicted by many people, and fair enough. But honestly, I feel like people hating the scene, it's just kind of homophobic. I can't lie. And the thing is, I'm not gay. I think it's pretty obvious. I've said it in videos before, but I didn't really. I understand why there could be issues with the scene because I feel like it was the wrong time to do it. I think if it was any other time, um, it would have been fine, but they decided to do it right before going into a battle with Vecna. Now, obviously, they explained why they did it in the show, because obviously Vecna was gonna obviously make tell everyone. But I didn't really understand that. What Vecna was going to expose he was gay? Like what did that like? I don't know. That part didn't really make sense to me, but I think it was just the wrong timing to do it. And I don't really understand why the whole group had to be there because, to be honest, it seemed like not a lot of them really cared, or like, and they were all just some of them were just standing there, like, so it's just funny to me, that part, but I honestly, I honestly believe that the scene was good. You know, I think it was a good, powerful scene, but it was just a wrong place, wrong time moment. You know, like I think if they could do it at a different time, maybe for not going as well, it would have been fine. But yeah, uh, there's so much I needed to talk about. Obviously, I think the memories part going into Henry Quill's mind, uh, talking about seeing his memories to get a bit of lore about him, and obviously his origins was pretty cool. Um, but I think as well as that, I think as well as that though, I think that um, the one thing I didn't really like was the fact they didn't really answer a lot of questions regarding Vecna. And the reason they did that is because of obviously the show. There was because there was a play, and I don't really like that they had to make a play to explain it, and but never referenced anything apart from the play in the show. Like obviously, I think it's just so they can get more people to watch the play, but like to watch the play, you'd have to go to either London or New York to watch it, and even by then, they do contradict a lot of stuff in the play to the actual show, so you don't really know what part's actually true and believe, or what part's actually like just there. um, but I think apparently they're going to be releasing a Netflix. They're going to be releasing the play on Netflix, so you can watch it. As well as they're going to be releasing a documentary going over the behind the scenes of the creation of this season, which is interesting. Because I do want to see what obviously how they created this masterpiece. But overall, obviously, it isn't really the best of finales. I think there's a lot of issues, and I honestly get it's not the easiest to create a finale for a successful show. In truth, when they created the show, they didn't expect it to be as successful as it did. Like they were probably only planning it to be a one season thing until obviously it did really well. They had to create season two. Like if I want to give it a comparison, it's like the Ninjago after season two. Like they didn't really plan to do a season three, but because all the parents wanted them to do it, um, I that's why they made it. Obviously, with Ninjago, it kind of worked because they kind of actually planned it out really well, even though it did get a bit messy at times. I think Stranger Things was a bit messy at times because I think the issue came at episode 7 was because they were setting up a lot of plot points, a lot of questions, and they had to answer a lot of questions in the finale, as well as obviously playing out the finale. And that was the issue. Like, they didn't really answer enough questions, so and they're leaving the finale to answer everything, which I don't know if I liked that. But with what it was, and considering everything that the challenges they had to do to create the series, I honestly think that this episode is good. I think the season overall, I think the first 4 episodes I liked because it gave me old Stranger Things hype, vibes, because at that point it was like it's been a past few years since I watched it, Stranger Things season 4. Um, but I think I was going to say something, but I honestly thought it was good overall. Uh, I think a lot of people are just expecting it to be like Avengers Endgame level stuff, and that is probably the issue with most people. And like anything anyone's going to try and criticize nowadays, is where everyone agrees on one thing. You know what I mean? I think music choice as well. Stranger Things has always got the best music choice of it all. But I'm sorry, I've been going on for so long. I'm gonna end this video now by saying what my final official ranking of Stranger Things season 1 to 5 let's start off with number 5. I'm going to give it to, for the worst season, I'm going to give it to season 2. I think season 2 was just a basic recopy of season 1. And I don't think it was that good. And I think it's the most forgettable one out of all of them, in my honest opinion. I think number 4 will probably be season. Number 4 might be season 4 for me. I think season 5. Oh, I think it's difficult between season 4 and season 5 because they both have their issues. But I'm gonna put season 4 at number 4 just because I feel like it's too much chaotic that season. And for that, I might have to put 4. Even though I do think it's a really good season with Eddie. I do really think it's a really good season with Eddie. I honestly think it will go number 4. I think number 3 will be season 5. I think season 5, I think is probably obviously the season that just came out. I think there are a lot of issues with season 5, but I think overall I do think it's like a mid season. So that's why I'm going to be putting it number 5, number 3. Number 2, I'm probably going to give it to season 1, being obviously the first season. Nostalgia based, very cool. It's like basically the new hope of Stranger Things. Obviously being very simple but very cool and nostalgic. So I'm gonna give it to season 1, and then I think, in my opinion, the best season, which I see a lot of people hate the season online, and I don't understand why, but I'm gonna give it a season 3. I think season 3 is the best because it was the season I got into the show, and I just think it's obviously like the coolest one. Setting them all the color aesthetics, it was a lot more brighter, a lot more like cool, like 80s themed than previous season. Because I think before then it was all pretty dark, you know. Even the last 2 seasons, 4 and 5, very dark. I thought like season 3 is the only like cool one out of the 3. I mean 5. So yeah, that's my official final ranking of all the Stranger Things season. But it's also my final ranking on the Stranger Things finale as well, my opinion. So yeah, I am sorry this video is long, and there's probably things I still did miss, but I tried because there's a lot of that things that goes on in this show, and it's difficult to fit all of it into one video. But I did try, guys. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and if I pissed you off, I am sorry. But we're on the way to 600, and yeah, I appreciate it, and peace.